back to Beyond the Split, the podcast where we sit down with the people who make real estate happen every day. I'm Tony Guerrero with Home Smart Advantage Group.
And I'm Luke Johnson. Thanks for joining us for another conversation with professionals who are making a difference in our industry and community.
Today, we're excited to welcome someone many of our listeners know and trust, Katy Furman. She's a senior loan officer with VIP Mortgage and has helped countless Arizona families achieve home ownership. I think that's a true statement.
I think that might be a true statement.
Yeah. What's interesting about Katy's story is that she didn't start out in finance. She's a graduate of the University of Arizona, my alma, with a degree in English literature, proving that sometimes the road to success isn't always a straight line.
And if you've ever worked with Katy, you know she's built a reputation for educating clients, solving problems, and keeping transactions moving forward.
That's exactly why we wanted her on the show today. Mortgages can feel intimidating to buyers, especially first-time buyers and us real estate agents. But professionals like Katy help make the process understandable and achievable. Katy, welcome to Beyond the Split.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Even with these big things on my head.
Yeah. We have that on there so that you can keep your balance.
Every little bit helps, Tony.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes the head's too big for the body. What are you going to do? You need some balance. So let's start at the beginning. You earned a degree in English literature from the University of Arizona. You attended St. Michael's first, though.
I did.
In grade school.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, and then you went to Sal Point.
I did.
That's an honorable Tucson activity. And then you went to the University of Arizona. Always an honorable transition.
There was a little segue in between the two, though.
Uh-oh.
So, do you remember Up With People?
I do.
So, I traveled with Up With People in between high school and college. So, there was actually 2 years in between. So, there was 6 months when I had to raise the money to go. And then I traveled for a year. And then 6 months when I had to pay back the money that I borrowed to travel. And then I started at the U of A. So
you were a Glee girl.
I was a Glee. Well, isn't Glee a High School Musical type stuff?
I don't know.
I was a singer and a dancer. I was a stage
Isn't that the
dog,
same?
but it was the best year of my life. It was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that about you.
Oh, there you go.
There it
Useless
is.
trivia.
No, that is fantastical. I take back my commentary about nobody will care in the future.
Yeah.
So you earned a degree in English literature.
Correct.
From the University of Arizona. And when you were sitting in those classrooms, did you ever imagine you'd end up in the mortgage industry?
I dreamed of being a loan officer, Tony. Yeah. That was my dream.
Right?
What I really wanted to do was move to New York and be an editor.
Yeah.
So once upon a time, and I think it was like 1996, because I was pregnant with my daughter, I was assistant editor at Tucson Lifestyle magazine. I think I was being paid like $6.25 an hour, and that was big money, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved editing. I loved it. So I wanted to move to New York and be an editor for a magazine, and that didn't happen. But that's okay, because here I am. I got 2 awesome kids out of it, and a career in mortgages.
What I have to know, when was that moment that you realized that mortgage lending was where you belonged?
That never happened.
No.
I kind of ended up in it by mistake, actually.
Accidentally.
Yeah. It was an accidental thing. So I had a friend whose brother-in-law was a mortgage lender, and they were going to Canada for the summer to go to their little cottage for like 6 weeks. And my kids were really little, and I was looking for something. So for some kind of work, transitioning. And he said, I met him at I think it was an engagement party. And he said, so Katy, I hear you're looking for work for the summer. And I was like, yeah, but I got 2 little kids at home. I really need a lot of flexibility. Can't commit too much. He goes, well, I'm just leaving for 6 weeks to go to the cottage. Can you look after my business and take care of my clients while I'm gone? So I asked him, I said, well, what do you do? And he told me what he did. And I said, that sounds absolutely horrible.
I could see it.
So then I went into the office. I had 1 day of quote unquote training, which was him basically showing me where the desk was, And I blew the dust off the desk, and there was a stack of files like this. I had no idea what to do. So I went into my branch manager at the time, who ironically now is my branch manager again, though these many years later. And I said, what do I do? And he goes, well, just call those people and see if they want to refinance. I was like, what is that? I didn't know what a par rate was. I didn't know how to read a rate sheet. I didn't know anything. I was petrified. But I learned by osmosis from all the processors. Honestly, I just asked questions. I drove them nuts.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned. And I just asked questions and questions and questions and became my own LO. And 25 years later, here we are.
You became an LO. That's a loan
Officer, excuse
got
me.
it. Got it.
Yes,
Oh, no,
loan
no
officer.
worries.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. So you spent how many years would you say of your professional life doing mortgages?
All of it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, before that, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Actually, when I stopped, well, I was a stay-at-home mom, then I went through a divorce and I got my real estate license. And I was a real estate site sales agent for a builder for, I think, like 9 months. And I was terrible. I was a terrible real estate agent. And then he went bankrupt. So I lost my job. Anyway, we all did. Then that was 9 months. And then that was when I was in between. And that's when I met this loan officer who introduced me to mortgages. Yeah.
So you had a little bit of a bump in the road there, and you had 2 little kids, and now you're working on your own, and you're trying to figure out how to make the whole thing work on your own, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And what is it that kept you in Tucson at that point?
My kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their dad was here. My family was here. So I actually came back. I was living in Michigan. So they came back to Arizona to Tucson to raise the kids because I grew up here. So it was home.
Right,
it was home.
Where did you live in Michigan?
Grand Rapids.
In Grand Rapids?
East Grand Rapids, actually.
Very nice.
Darling part of town. It was beautiful. Cold as all get out, but beautiful.
So people, they don't immediately connect, like people that are like getting into business or people that are coming up in the world, or, those of us that have been around for a while, maybe we'll see it more, but they don't immediately connect English literature and mortgage lending. But I suspect that there's some skills that must transfer. What do you think about your educational background that help you communicate with your clients now, and your ability
It's actually
to
a pretty good
explain
question.
topics?
I think if I can, it's not a logical segue really, but I think if I can translate what you learn as a liberal arts major, specifically a literature major, is how to articulate and how to explain things to people and how to really kind of know how to word it in such a way that they will understand it. So you got to learn. I mean, this also comes with being in sales over the years. You got to know your audience, right? So we tailor what we say to wherever that person is in their life, or what they might hear, what they might not hear, how advanced their vocabulary is, right? But I think if anything, over, what has it been now, 30 something years since I graduated? I don't know, I have to do the math, but I would say it's probably just the ability to explain things to people in a way that makes sense to them, that translates into common sense, and not, you got to be really careful with mortgages. And I'm sure it's the same with real estate. It's so nuanced and such a unique industry specific jargon. You have to be really careful that you don't just throw around words and throw around acronyms and act like they're supposed to know what you're saying. You've got to just really, be human with them.
Yeah.
And I think literature teaches you that, and also teaches you how to write. And that's important too.
Yeah.
Because when you're writing emails, that's a big deal. That's a huge part of our business.
Yeah.
And you need to know how to write.
Yeah.
And how you need to know the proper use of grammar and punctuation, and not sound, like you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So
right.
I think those translate into helping with this particular business.
Do you find kind of the breadth of the liberal arts education that you got helps you find common ground with people that you talk to?
100%. I think it was the combination of the time and up with people, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Coupled with the degree that I got, because it was English literature with a minor in humanities.
Yeah.
So those two things together, married together, really help me see where somebody is in their space in that time, and how they need to be spoken to, and You got to be able to, like, so when I traveled and up with people, there were no cell phones, there was no Google Translate, and we lived with families that didn't speak English at all.
Uh-huh.
And obviously we didn't speak their language, and we lived in their home. So we learned through hand gestures and drawing pictures, and, you know, sometimes their little kids would help translate. So it just helped me learn how to speak to other people and meet them where they are.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you sing in the car?
All the time. I sing better in the shower though.
You're a better
Doesn't
shower
everybody?
Uh-huh.
You don't care. You just sing in the car.
Yeah, all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of helping somebody buy a house?
Oh, wow. Well, it's usually the first time home buyers, although it's also people in transition.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's coming out of a marriage or they lost a spouse and they're having to get their own place and they're really scared. I get a great fulfillment out of helping assuage people's fears and putting them at ease and making them comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
The most powerful alone experience I ever had, I'll never forget it, was a young woman. She was a single mom. She had 3 kids. And she used to have to take them to the school bus stop in the dark because she had to get to her first of 2 jobs that she worked.
Mm.
And she was buying her first home. This was way before the mortgage implosion. This was like early 2000s, mid 2000s. And I thought I'd never forget her name, but unfortunately my brain has forgotten her name. She was lovely. And she wouldn't tell the kids that she was going to buy a house because she was so afraid that it was going to blow up. And it almost did, because we got her last pay stub right before closing and her hours had dropped and her income had dropped because she had variable income. And suddenly she didn't qualify anymore. And I was absolutely mortified. So I went to my boss. I'm like, we have to drop the rate. We have to drop the rate. So I was like, I don't care how low you have to drop it. It's got to come down. And we brought it down. And she never knew. Sharing is not always caring. So we didn't say anything to her, but we got it closed, and all of us were just sweating buckets, thinking that this thing wasn't going to close. And she closed and told her children, right, at the closing table,
that their people,
mommy's buying a house.
Yeah.
And it was,
that's
Wow.
awesome.
it was
That's awesome.
huge. Yeah. Hope. That was her name. Hope Wilbur.
Oh, that's
remember.
awesome.
Hope's a fitting name. That's great.
Yeah. That was the most powerful experience and most rewarding experience I've ever
That's
had
awesome.
as an LO. Yeah. Loan officer.
So how much of your job is numbers versus helping people manage their emotions and uncertainty?
I'd say it's probably 60% numbers,
Really?
which is a little scary for a literature major. All I can say is thank God invented software.
Uh-huh.
This is why I have great hope that we won't be replaced by the AI thing.
Mhm.
It
Because that 40% the AI is not going to be able to generate.
yeah.
The numbers,
Mm-hmm.
everybody can do numbers.
Yeah, they can. But it's so important to get that part right, because if you don't, really bad things can happen.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of my work up front. I'd much prefer to do all that gathering of stuff ahead of time so that you don't have any 11th hour surprises, which, I mean, they still happen. Things happen. People buy cars day before closing or quit their job or get married or get divorced and don't tell you. Like crazy stuff happens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, because I'm just living in constant like fear that something's going to go wrong, and I'm trying to prevent everything I can to forever never let that happen, so that I'm just like meticulous about the numbers.
Yeah. Very good. And now you're working at VIP right
Mhm.
now. So you're affiliated with them. And but I understand that you were at a couple other places.
Right.
And but you've been at VIP for a while?
Pretty much since 2011.
2000, that's a while.
It's a while.
And what brought you to VIP? What is it that
Well, I was working at another lender with a very good friend of mine who happens to be related to one of the owners of VIP. And he's a master recruiter.
Mm.
And she and I were both working together for another lender. And he basically said, I want to take you ladies to lunch. And we knew, here it's coming. Here comes the big push for recruiting, So she told me he's probably going to call you. So he called me and he was just, hey, Katie, how you doing? I said, you're trying to recruit me, aren't you? And he said, yeah, do you want to go to lunch? And I was like, all right, fine. So we went to an obscure, what was at the time kind of a hideout, obscure place. It was up at the gallery, which is now, big place where a lot of people go. But back then it was very small and you could go to lunch there and like nobody would be there because it was a small town. You don't want people to think, the word get out that you're leaving or whatever. It's just try to avoid any drama.
Right.
And we had lunch and I don't even remember what he offered me. It was great. And my best friend was going. And so she and I went over together. And at that time, the office was itty bitty, teeny, teeny, tiny.
Yeah.
And they've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you're across the road from us.
Thank you.
Now,
Me too.
It's
not even a road. It's like a sidewalk. I didn't even have to drive here.
An asphalt street that you have to run across really fast.
Yeah, if you don't have shoes on.
Flying in off of Oracle, you get run over. Oh, no, you guys aren't that close to Oracle. That's right. You guys, the hoity that way. So I know that I promised you that you wouldn't have to do any kind of like loan programs or anything like that. They don't translate well to podcasts, but
it's just not very exciting.
What are some, is there a program or an opportunity that buyers often don't realize are available to them?
Well, it kind of depends on the buyer. Can you give me an example of a buyer type?
Yeah, somebody that is a professional that's graduating from college, or some first time buyer, or just kind of, not those of us that, or those folks that have good credit and they have money down and they have 25-year jobs. Not that.
Something outside of the box.
Yeah.
So there's a whole arsenal of loan programs for people that don't fit inside the box. So I'll take first time home buyer. We'll try that one. So if you go online and you Google first time home buyer programs, you're going to get 40 million hits. And basically there's just a small umbrella of loans and everybody has a different name for the same thing. So if you're a first-time home buyer, which means you haven't owned a home or have had any ownership interest in a home at all for the last 3 years, then you can qualify for as little as 3% down on a conventional loan. You can also get down payment assistance for that. You can get gift money from family members for that. Same thing goes for a government loan. There's really nothing magical about it. It's just knowing that if you're a first-time home buyer, you can qualify with less down. If you're under a certain income threshold and you have good credit, there's a program called Home Ready, Home Possible. They're just the Fannie and Freddie equivalent of each other. And you get a lower interest rate and discounted mortgage insurance. So that's possible. So if you're talking, may I give you a couple more examples?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're in.
So say we've got somebody who is coming in for residency or fellowship at the U of A. All the residents are coming right now. They're all going to start July 1st. And they're all coming in now looking for housing. There's a doctor program that we just launched a couple of months ago where if you have a medical degree, but you're coming in for residency or fellowships, you're not a practicing attending physician yet, but you've got a salary, 80, 90 grand or whatever it is they get paid, I'm not sure. Then we can use that income. They can qualify for 100% financing, no mortgage insurance. So no money down, no mortgage insurance. And if they have student loans that are deferred, then we can omit those from their debt ratio. So that's pretty huge.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you don't have to be a resident or fellow to use it. So there's that program. And then for a lot of people that we deal with in Tucson are second home buyers or people who are moving here and have a house to sell back home. There are a couple programs out there that are unique for them. There's some bridge loan programs where they can buy before they sell the house back home. That's pretty cool. But there's another one that's really big that not a lot of people know about. It's an asset utilization program. So if you've got a lot of money in the bank, but not a lot consistent provable income. So you have $2 million in the bank, but your only consistent income is like Social Security and your old Raytheon pension or whatever the case may be, but you want to buy $1 million property. That's not really going to work. So you might have an asset statement where you pull a little money here, pull a little money there, but it's not consistent, stable income. Then we can use your asset and basically create a phantom income stream for that and use that to qualify without liquidating. So there's all kinds of programs like that available to people out there in the world. There are investor programs that were no personal income information at all. There's just a lot.
It's good to know.
A lot of really great stuff out there.
But for those of us that are first-time home buyers, and just don't have a lot of juice yet, what do you think the biggest misconception they have about the mortgage process.
That they have to have perfect credit and they have to have 20% down.
Is that right?
Nothing could be further from the truth. Yep.
So they have to just meet a certain threshold, and then there's a lot of help that they can get. Maybe
Yeah.
not a huge amount down.
I think there's so much help that they can get, but there's a lot of fear that blocks people from asking about that, asking for help. They think that, oh, if I go to a loan officer, they're going to pull my credit and I'm really embarrassed. What about that old collection? Or I got to pay off they think they have to pay off certain things when in reality they might not have to. It might actually not be good to do that. So that's what I find is that, oh, I just got stuff I have to do before I can apply. It's like, no, apply first.
Yeah.
And then let me guide you on what to do. Because what if you take all your money and you pay off that old charge off you don't have to pay off and now you have no down payment anymore? That kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I don't know if you guys find that, but those are for first time home buyers. That's what I see mostly is I have to have perfect credit and I have to have 20% down.
You know, those of us that are real estate agents, this is what we find. Now that you asked the question,
Yes.
we find that it's your problem. So
Yeah.
take care of it.
Touche.
That's
Okay.
what we find. We're like, hey, listen, call Katy. She'll handle it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion right now about affordability and interest rates. Do you think there's any opportunities that buyers are overlooking in today's market? How would you answer that question?
What kind of buyer?
Just a buyer.
Any buyer?
Yeah. They're like, oh, they're not affordable. The interest rates are high.
Are you talking about people who want to buy a house, but they're holding off?
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to sit down and compare what a mortgage payment would look like, including your tax deduction, build that into the calculation versus how much you're paying in rent.
Uh-huh.
And that the fact that the rent can go up or your landlord can tell you they're selling and you got to get out.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think that's the scariest about being a renter. If you're in an apartment complex, okay, fine, they're probably not going to sell. But they could jack up your rent $100 a month whenever they feel like it, right? Or even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it really would behoove that person to sit down and say, okay, what does renting for 1 year look like? And what does buying for 1 year look like? And look at hard numbers and know that there's a tax deduction for them if they fall within the confines of the tax code. And then I think in most cases, people find that it's pretty much the same, if not better.
Yeah.
So, and there's less, there's no chance that somebody's going to sell your house underneath you, right? Unless you don't make a payment, in which case that's a different story. But
Well, they're not selling it. They're just repossessing it.
exactly. Taking back what's theirs.
In what is it? A deed in lieu of foreclosure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of real estate agents over the years, right? So what are some traits you see in the agents who, consistently create smooth transactions for clients? And what can, newer real estate agents learn from the lending side that can help them create that smooth transition?
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think that I do best when the agent just lets me do my job.
Yeah.
But they need to know that I'm good at what I do and they need to be able to trust me. And that trust is earned. So I get that in the beginning. But I do better. Most loan officers do better when they are just trusted to do their job. And I know that's a lot to ask, but I think over time, people figure it out. Sometimes agents will figure it out within the first couple of weeks. They're like, all right, I don't need to hound her. She'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
As far as new agents go, I think probably the most critical thing that I could press on them or teach or guide them is to the emphasis of the importance of the pre-qualification. The pre-qualification is so important. And I know when you're new and you're hungry and you're excited, you don't want to say, you got to get pre-qualified before I'll put you in the car, right?
Yeah.
That's exciting to go look at houses, but it's so critical. It's absolutely critical because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then you get that person's hopes up, right? They think they can afford something, maybe they can't, or, maybe they could afford more than they think they can. That's what I think new agents, if I could instill in them, is like, have enough confidence in yourself to know you're doing yourself a favor and you're doing them a favor. By saying pre-qualification is so critical. Like, You wouldn't go shop for a car without knowing how much you can afford, right?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what you need your payment to be, you know how much you have. It's that times 10. So it's just super important for the newer agents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. That's great.
If every realtor that listens to this podcast could improve one thing, myself included, about the way I work with my lenders, what would you suggest as a lender?
How can you rephrase that for me, please?
So, us agents, we work with lenders, and if there was, in your opinion, one thing that we could do to make it so that our clients are better served by both of us, what would it be that we should be doing as agents?
I think as far as the symbiotic real estate loan officer relationship goes, explain to them that we're a team and I'm not just a third party, that we work in tandem together as a team and we're in constant communication, but everything that the borrower and I talk about is financially is confidential.
Right.
So sometimes I get the feeling from people that they're like, oh, I don't want my realtor to know that. And it's like, we don't tell the realtors these things, right? So I think for them to know that there's a relationship there between us and we're all on the same team, that they're going to be taken care of, as a group. We're all a group.
Yeah.
And we're not individually doing our own separate things like title, you, me, we're all talking constantly.
Correct.
But their privacy is protected. And that's really important because, it's a financial colonoscopy to get a mortgage,
That is a good point.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that's really private stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But there's a fine line because, like, if you've got a contingent offer, for example, you need to know what their net's going to be. And if they have to pay off debts if that affects their net, like there's some stuff, it's like a fine line, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be really careful with that. But I think for the borrowers to know that we're all together working for them is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That is a very, very good point. It's true. It's true. And really all of us, we're not really, quote unquote, supposed to tell anybody the business of any of our clients.
Right.
And it's interesting that you bring that up, that we all kind of work together, but we kind of all silo our things that we're taking care of on our own.
Yeah.
And then keep it to ourselves until that moment comes where we need to chat about it for a second. So what when you look ahead in the mortgage industry in the next 3 to 5 years, what excites you the most about? Do you have any kind of feelings about what home ownership is going to look like and mortgage financing is going to look like? Do you have that?
I am personally most excited about the whole non-QM portfolio of products. That is my jam. I love
non-QM.
I will tell you all about it. I think it's so
non-QM?
fantastic. So in order to understand what non-QM is, you have to understand what QM is, right? So QM is just a qualified mortgage. Non-QM is non-qualified mortgage. Excuse me, I have allergies. A qualified mortgage is just like a quote unquote normal mortgage.
Tito, hand me a tissue.
Oh, they're down here. Did you see that movie, the Michael Jackson movie? You said that was a Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, I know. It's an Eddie Murphy thing.
Oh, Eddie Murphy.
We're gonna throw out some lines down. Eddie Murphy. There, we named somebody.
So a qualified mortgage is just a normal mortgage. Excuse me, a conventional mortgage that's sold to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, FHA, USDA, blah, blah, blah. Non-QM mortgages are mortgages that are not backed or sold to Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, yada, yada.
Got it.
They are purchased by pools of investors. So these are not subprime loans. For people who are listening, a subprime loan is, well, they were really bad loans that got us into a lot of trouble for people with really bad credit, no money down, like really sketchy stuff. These are not sketchy loans. These are good, solid programs for people who qualify, but not by conventional means. So self-employed people who write everything off on their tax returns. We can do business bank statement loans. Investor loans, DSCR, my favorite, debt service coverage ratio product, where you can buy an investment property with no personal or employment information at all.
Awesome.
That's fantastic if you want to create an income stream. That's a great loan for somebody who has money and they want to diversify their portfolio, but they might not necessarily qualify with personal income information. You can close in an LLC. You can scale your portfolio by pulling cash out of one and buying another. There are just so many things that you can do with that investor product. I think it's vastly underutilized. 1099 loans are surging. So a 1099 loan is for somebody like a gig worker, a Uber driver, Lyft driver, real estate agents, anybody who's independent contractor.
Mhm.
They all write everything off. We write off
True story.
mileage, expenses, everything. So
story.
right?
Yep.
So with a 1099 loan, we don't want to see any tax returns in any of these loans.
Yeah.
So we take the income from the 1099. There's a calculation. That's what we use for income, no tax returns. So all of these programs that are, I think 8% of originations last year were non-QM products.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I mean, that is explosive growth.
And you think that's going to grow
I do.
more in the next few years?
I do.
Well, it's good to know. It's good to
I
know
really
that see
do.
you bring it up. I do it every day, and in my mind, that doesn't now
It doesn't
you just
compute.
opened a whole nother
Mhm.
segment in my brain. Like, oh, hey, these things are now out there. Only because we're like you. We chat with people, and then if we don't know, and then they find out from some other source, these folks will start thinking, well, they didn't know. So it's part of that liberal arts education thing.
Yeah, it's just so much room for opportunity there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, we're gonna do our lightning round now.
You ready?
Oh boy.
Me and Tony are gonna alternate. We're just gonna do little fun questions.
Okay.
So I'll start it off here.
Oh boy.
Favorite Tucson restaurant?
Oh Lord. Probably Rosa's Mexican restaurant on
Ooh.
Fort Lowell and Campbell.
Rosas on Fort
I
Lowell and
love
Campbell.
Rosa's.
Nice.
That's going way back. It's been my favorite for forever. I'm not a super foodie person. I'm not. I don't get super adventurous. Although I have to say, I went to Amelia's not too long ago. Have you been there? Amelia's Mexican restaurant on Oracle.
No.
Holy
I've heard it's
cow!
good.
It was incredible.
Is that right?
It's award winning. It's right up the street from us. It was.
Wow.
It
I'm
was.
going now.
They have a prickly pear margarita. Chef's kiss.
We heard sushi on Oracle's good too.
Sushi on Oracle is very good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Mhm.
I'm an East Sider. I'm over by Sabino Canyon.
Ah, okay.
So for me, it's like, when you guys say these restaurants, I'm like, I've never been to that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good
Is
to
there-
know.
Yeah, very good. Good
So-
stuff.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Coffee.
100%.
Fair enough.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm in England, then I would probably and a crumpet.
And a crumpet. Yep. Favorite book or author?
My favorite book is The Kite Runner.
Okay.
Kite
The
runner.
Kite Runner.
We
And I-
just asked a literature.
And the only I can't even remember who wrote it. I remember when I read it. I had a weekend away from my kids. I was in Mexico. I had 2 days on the beach by myself, and I had my book, and I had a little cooler with a 6-pack of Corona, and I had my water bottles, and I sat on the beach for 2 days, and I read. I just read the whole weekend, and that book made me cry and laugh all at the same time. It was beautifully written, and the images are still in my brain from when I read
Would
that
I
book.
like it?
I think you would.
You think so? Am I emotionally
I
stable
think
enough to read
you're
that?
intellectually curious enough to appreciate The Kite Runner.
All right. That's
It's
it.
a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story.
All right. I am. I cry. I cry at movies. Dumbass movies. I'll be crying.
I saw a crazy movie last night. I saw Backrooms.
Oh,
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the
Dude,
trailers. I've seen
Freaking
everything.
disturbing. Like if you're having any kind of mental health issues,
Don't watch
go
Backrooms.
see that movie. Don't. I was speechless.
I'm ready for disclosure on the
Oh
17th.
man,
I'm on that one.
Backrooms. Whew.
Backrooms.
Backrooms.
That's it. Now I'm watching it.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Wildcat football or Wildcat basketball?
Oh.
Yeah, I love it. Here we go. Here we go.
Can I plead the fifth on that? Because I don't watch sports. I'm like, okay, basketball's the one with the round ball, right?
Let the elitism come out.
I don't. I have to say, there was a period of time where I was going to some U of A basketball games as a like maybe like 10 years ago or
Yeah.
so. It was really fun. So if I go back to the years when I went to football games and I remember the basketball games, I'd probably have to say basketball because
Yeah.
it was so
Mhm.
freaking exciting.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
basketball's
it
still the
was-
same way.
It was very exciting.
Oh, good.
No disrespect to,
It's okay.
sports people.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I just grew up in a house full of girls, and
There's a bunch of them that would say the same
we
thing.
played
and they
tennis
play
and
there.
danced in point shoes, and
Yeah.
that was our jam.
Yeah. You play tennis for South Point?
My sister played tennis. I did
Yeah.
not. I was a ballerina. That was my jam.
Hmm. You were the one that she beat up on when she went to practice. Yeah,
Exactly.
And then beach vacation or mountain vacation?
Oh, that's a tough one. I love both.
Yeah,
If I had to pick, I'd probably have to pick beach.
yeah.
But if it's
Beach?
Aspens in Colorado and a lake, that's a tough one.
Hmm.
Yeah, like skiing,
Oh yeah.
Tahoe.
No skiing,
No.
too cold.
No.
No, summer by the
Summer-
lake with
summer
the
cabin.
aspen trees.
Yeah.
If I'm in the lodge drinking a hot toddy, then I'd go for the ski vacation.
Yeah. We feel you. So what's the one thing that people would be surprised to learn about you?
That I used to speak French when I was very little and we lived in Africa.
Mm.
That's probably the.
What?
Yeah, my dad was in the oil industry. He worked for Texaco back in the day.
Hmm.
And we lived in Rio de Janeiro, and we lived in the Ivory Coast, and we lived in Sierra Leone. And when we were in Sierra Leone, I don't remember Sierra Leone or the Ivory Coast, but my mom put us in a French immersion school.
Mm.
And my sister and I were fluent in 4 months.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And then I remember coming to Tucson and visiting my grandparents. We were very young and we were playing in the pool. She and my grandpa built a house at the top of Swan in 1971, and there was like nothing up there. I'm talking nothing.
Yeah.
It was just virgin desert. Pontotoc was a 1-lane dirt road. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Mountain lions. That's it.
Yeah.
And I remember being in the pool speaking with my sister in French, and then my mom came out to bring us lunch or something. And we stopped speaking French and we started speaking to her in English. And she was very disappointed. She was like, "Why aren't you speaking?" Because we wanted to be cool, wanted to be cool Americans. And so, yeah. So then we never spoke it again.
That's funny. Katy, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It's always great hearing how professionals find their way into the industry and the impact that they're making. And you're making a really good impact. So thank you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that very much. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was nervous. It
I
was
don't
fun.
know either. You know what? The thing that stands out to me about we had a different person from a different mortgage company come out here today as well, and for a different podcast that we
Mhm.
did, and it's not just about rates and paperwork. It's it surprises me. It's just about helping families and create opportunities and
Mhm.
help them build wealth through their home ownership. And that's something that you've been doing for a long time, and we very much appreciate it, and we
Well,
very
it's
much
my
appreciate
pleasure.
how much you help us here. By disclosure, Miss Katy has assisted me on a number of transactions now, and in certain cases, she's been the one to call me and say, "Hey, what's going on with this deal, Guerrero? You made me get into the middle of it, and now we're going." I'm like,
Mhm.
damn, because it wasn't for Katy, that I wouldn't be doing a deal. Anyway,
I just want to remind everybody that a loan isn't a loan without a human being behind it.
yep,
Mhm.
Every transaction is a human being or a family, and they're not. Numbers are important to make the deal work, but without human beings, we wouldn't have loans.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's awesome. Is it okay if we put your contact information at the end of this podcast?
Sure.
If they want to reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Well,
Mhm.
Katy Furman, thank you very much for
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
your time and for
My
visiting
pleasure.
with us and
Thank you.
giving us a little podcast material.
It was fun.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.